Hello and welcome to my presentation on operating systems and firewall hardening strategies. My name is Grant Williams and I'm taking ISA 4220 Fall 2025. The presentation overview and content is this presentation. I will walk you through the technical details and security hardening strategies for two operating systems and their respective firewalls. Our lab work will center around these systems, and after researching, I've identified three key hardening strategies for each one. These strategies are designed to strengthen security and improve overall system resilience. So what is an operating system? An operating system, or OS, is the main software which runs on a computer, and it manages the hardware like the processor, the memory, and the storage. It also provides the platform for applications to run. In short, it acts as the middleman between the user, the programs, and the computer's hardware. These are the main operating systems like Apple, Linux, Windows, iOS, Android, and BSDOS. The first operating system, called GMNAA, came out in 1956, and since then operating systems have changed a lot. They started as simple batch processors on mainframes, but over time they gained multitasking, real-time processing, and graphical interfaces. All these improvements led to the modern operating systems that we use today on computers, servers, and mobile devices. An operating system is the core software that manages a computer's hardware and resources. It serves as the link between applications and the hardware itself. Over the years, developers have worked to make operating systems more user-friendly, more secure, and able to work with a wide variety of devices. Modern operating systems go far beyond just handling basic tasks. They include advanced features like virtualization, cloud integration, and stronger security tools. Some well-known examples are Windows, Linux, Ubuntu, and macOS. These systems make computers easier to use by providing clear interfaces and reliable connections with hardware, so applications run smoothly without users needing to understand what's happening behind the scenes. That's why the operating system has become such a critical part of every modern device. Firewalls. What is a firewall? A firewall is a security tool that protects a trusted internal network from outside untrusted networks like the internet. It works by monitoring traffic that comes in and goes out, and it allows or blocks that traffic based on a set of security rules. Cisco says it is the first line of defense that monitors incoming and outgoing traffic and decides to allow or block specific traffic based on a defined set or security rules. Linux Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a well-known open source operating system built on the Linux kernel. It's developed and supported by Canonical and has a strong community behind it. Ubuntu is popular because it's reliable, secure, and easy to use, which makes it a great choice for both servers and personal computers. Regular updates and long-term support. Ubuntu gets frequent updates that include important security patches and kernel improvements, which helps keep the system secure and up to date. The LTS, or long-term support, offers extended stability with maintenance that lasts for several years. Ubuntu has a built-in support for tools like Docker and Kubernetes, making it easier to run and manage containerized applications. Ubuntu hardening best practices. To keep Ubuntu secure, there are a few key hardening steps to follow. First, make sure the system is regularly updated and patched. Use the apt package manager to keep software up to date and set up unintended upgrades. So critical security updates install automatically. This helps reduce vulnerabilities without you needing to check in on it every day. Next, configure the firewall. Enable UFW, or uncomplicated firewall, to control incoming and outgoing traffic. You can create rules to only allow the services you really need. It's also important to review your firewall settings often, adjusting them as requirements change, so unnecessary ports and services don't stay open. Finally, disable services you don't need. With systemctl, you can identify and turn off services that aren't required for the server to run. Along with that, review and adjust service permissions to make sure that they're set properly. This all helps shrink the attack surface and limit security risks. Windows Firewall. Windows Firewall is a built-in security feature that helps protect a device by managing the flow of network traffic. It filters data coming in and going out based on things like IP addresses, protocols, and port numbers. By setting these rules, Windows Firewall makes sure only unauthorized programs and services can communicate over the network. It uses stateful packet inspection, which means it checks traffic within the context of an active connection. This way, it only allows packets that are part of a valid ongoing session, adding another layer of security. Windows Firewall also lets administrators create advanced rules and policies for very specific control. These can be based on application behavior, user roles, or even network zones. It ties directly into Windows Security Center, so monitoring and alerts are centralized. For broader management, tools like Windows Defender Firewall and Advanced Security and Group Policy can be used. These allow administrators to configure and enforce firewall settings across many devices, keeping security policies consistent throughout an organization's network. Windows Firewall hardening recommendations. To harden Windows Firewall, there are several key steps to follow. First, establish and implement firewall rules. Create specific rules for both incoming and outgoing traffic tailored to your environment. This can include allowing or blocking traffic based on IP addresses, protocols, and ports. You can also take advantage of Windows Firewall's built-in rules for standard services and applications to simplify setup. Next, make sure those rules stay current. Regularly review and update them to match changing security needs, and that might mean adding in new rules, removing ones you no longer need, or adjusting them to address new threats. For larger environments, group policy can be used to keep firewall settings consistent across all devices. Finally, enable logging and monitoring. Turn on detailed logging to capture records of allowed and blocked traffic, and reviewing these logs on a regular basis makes it easier to spot unusual or unauthorized activity, helping you to respond to issues before they become serious problems. Windows Server 2022. Windows Server 2022 supports both 64-bit and ARM64 architectures, offering editions such as Standard, Data Center, and Essentials. Each edition is tailored to meet specific requirements, whether for individual users or for large organizations. Key features of Windows Server 2022. Enhanced security. Incorporates secured core server capabilities, providing robust protection against sophisticated threats. There's improved virtualization, which includes support for nested virtualization, enabling more flexible and efficient virtualization environments. Lastly, there's advanced networking, which features advanced networking capabilities with SMB or system message block over quick or quick UDP internet connections for secure, high-performance file sharing, and HTTPS for encrypted communications. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Windows Server hardening recommendations. To secure Windows Server, there are a few important hardening steps. First, enable and configure Windows Defender antivirus and make sure the real-time protection is turned on so threats are detected as they happen. Also schedule regular updates and scans to keep the server protected against new threats. Next, configure the firewall. Set up inbound and outbound rules so only the ports and services required for the server's operation are open. For larger environments, group policy can enforce consistent firewall settings across all servers. Finally, apply the principle of least privilege. Regularly review user permissions so accounts only have access that they need. You can also use role-based access control, or RBAC, to limit administrative rights and reduce the risk of unauthorized access or accidental system changes. IP Tables Firewall. IP Tables is a command line tool used to configure the Linux kernel's built-in firewall. It gives administrators detailed control over network traffic by letting them create rules that decide what packets are allowed in or out. This makes IP tables an important tool for protecting Linux systems from data breaches, unauthorized access, and other threats. It supports several key functions. First, packet filtering, where traffic can be allowed or blocked based on things like IP address, port number, or protocol. Second, network address translation, or NAT, which lets you do things like IP masquerading and port forwarding to route traffic between network segments. And third, stateful inspection, which keeps track of active connections and makes smarter decisions about which packets to allow. IP tables also supports custom chains and complex rule sets, and it can be extended with modules that add features like logging, connection tracking, or rate limiting. While it's still widely used, IP tables is slowly being replaced by NF tables, a newer tool that's easier to manage and offers better performance. And even so, IP tables still remains fully supported and continues to be a versatile option for securing Linux systems. IP tables, firewall, hardening recommendations. To secure Linux with IP tables, there are a few best practices to follow. First, define specific traffic rules. Create detailed rules for both inbound and outbound traffic based on IP addresses, ports, and protocols. Organize these rules into chains so traffic flow is managed effectively. Next, implement stateful inspection, and with common tracking, IP tables can monitor active connections and only allow traffic that's part of an established or related session. Finally, make backups and review settings regularly. Save your IP tables configurations so you don't lose them, and audit the rules from time to time to keep up with changing security needs. In summary, to keep both Windows and Ubuntu servers secure, several steps are important. On Windows Server 2022, activate Windows Defender, configure the firewall carefully, and follow the principle of least privilege. On Ubuntu, make sure the system is updated regularly, and use UFW to manage traffic and disable any unnecessary services. For ongoing protection, configure detailed traffic rules in Windows Firewall, review and update policies often, and monitor logs for unusual activity. In Linux, use IP tables to define clear rules, apply stateful inspection, and back up your configurations regularly. Overall, consistent monitoring and timely updates are essential. They help systems adapt to new threats and maintain strong security over time. And here are my references. Thank you for joining. Hope you have a good one.